What's up? I'm Troubleshoot. The Homebrewed 3 Rust Twitch drops have just begun at the time of recording this. Let's have a look at all these skins in-game so you know which creators you want to watch first before the rest, as the pictures might be misleading. So let's get straight into it. Homebrewed 3 consists of 14 brand new skins, 4 of which are general drops you can get by watching any Rust Twitch stream. First of all, the Retuu Garage Door, Gorliac Vending Machine, CaliRust Sheet Metal Double Door, and the Spiicy Assault Rifle. Scrolling down to the specific streamer drops, you can watch MonsteraArt for their Garage Door, Moons for their AK Fade, Tanizen for their MP5, VincentSMG for their AK, Gevad1ch for their semi-pistol, Vaybae for another AK, elWasabiTM, not sure how to say it, for their sheet metal door, RavennRust for their assault rifle, Wabbit for their Thompson, and finally GalaaxXy for their M2. Let's have a look at all of these in-game so you know which streamers to watch first. Starting off with the only streamer drop that is a weapon, this is the Spiicy Assault Rifle, which you can get for watching 8 hours of Rust streams on Twitch. It features, I guess, Mad Fiji, things like that, nice and Japanesey styled, white and pink. I love how this thing looks super clean, very No Mercy-esque, just with a bit more color. Having a look at the other side, it's just as pretty, if not even prettier. There's a lot more going on. And of course, checking it out from the first person over here, this thing is gorgeous for a short AK. Obviously, let's quickly compare the sight, which is trimmed down slightly, to the default AK sight. As you can see, there's quite a bit taken away, and at the very back we've got this ghoulish face smiling back at us. I really love how this thing looks. Pretty cool. Then the rest of these general item drops, starting off at the top with the 2-hour garage door from Retuu. This over here is a really clean, basic looking garage door with some beautiful leaves, lights on top of it, and of course it says to-do list, farm sulfur, raid neighbors, and try again. This thing is absolutely adorable, and of course if this was available for purchase, I probably would. If we flick over to nighttime for this, you can see the lights light up quite nicely, there's a bit of glow, and of course the streamer's name right in the center. The rest of the door fades away into darkness, and it just leaves you with these really beautiful outdoor lighting scheme that definitely does look super cool. The neon is a bit out of place at nighttime, but during the day it doesn't look bad at all. Pretty cool. Then the CaliRust double sheet metal door is this blackout type metal door here. Obviously this thing is super dark, there's barely any reflections, and there's this really dark wooden type texture across it. I assume this over here where the keypad would go is the streamer's icon, but overall it's a really beautiful dark metal door to add to your blackout type base where you can vanish into the darkness. A really nice addition, of course, are these two little slats that you can peek out of, very similar to armored doors, although obviously still very distinct from those. You shouldn't be getting confused at all. And moving up to peek out of it, you can see sort of eye level, a little bit above, a little bit below, but if someone's sitting just outside your door, you'd have to jump to see them. Ultimately, a pretty cool looking, nice, transparent, dark door. Flicking over to nighttime, the only thing that's left visible here, of course, are the two lights at the very top. There doesn't seem to be anything cast onto the rest of the door. It's really completely blackout. Then the final general drop is the Gorliac vending machine, as you can see here. It's a beautiful, opulent, I guess, safe or vault looking kind of thing, where you've got a dial on the front to enter a code to get your gold and other resources back. There's a window in the top left. Moving across to the back side, you can see this vault door at the very back, and it's expanded a little bit more. Ultimately, this thing is really super clean. I love how it looks, and of course, if you've got any kind of gold or opulent setup going on, this is going to be a fantastic addition to it. But those, of course, are the general drops. Moving on from here, that's strange, onto the streamer drops. First of all, MonsteraArt's Garage Door is a really beautiful work of art. This thing is absolutely amazing, and of course, it's got the Monstera signature in the bottom left. Definitely worthwhile picking up. It's a beautiful piece of art to add to your base, and it's definitely one of my favorites this Rust drop. And of course, turning off the lights, you can see that there's just this general global illumination to it. Nothing too crazy, you're just showing off this work of art. And then the last buildable that we have is this one here, the, I can't believe we struggle with the name so much, elWasabiTM. elWasabiTM, I have no idea, sheet metal double door. And of course, this very Asian aesthetic mouse or rat king, something along those lines, with the streamer's name at the very top of the door. Definitely very unique in its own art style. If you like it, well, here you go. Obviously, flicking over to nighttime, we can expect some more glowing effects from this, and as you can see, the door is actually very nicely lit up from both sides. Not bad at all. The character art on the front is just generally illuminated with the nice background. Maybe it's a chain link fence or something along those lines. definitely popping quite a bit. I'm probably missing some lore behind this, so do let me know down below. I'm very interested. With the last buildable out of the way, we got nothing but weapons left, so let's get into it. For AKs, starting off at the top, we've got this over here, which is Moon's Assault Rifle. You can claim after watching this Twitch streamer for 2 hours. Every individual Twitch streamer requires 2 hours of watch time, so you'll definitely need to put in some hours to get everything done, as there's a lot here. This AK Fade, I guess, is a really clean looking skin. I definitely do like how it looks. I'm a big fan of Fade type skins, and of course, this is no exception. There's black plastic texture that's across the magazine, handguard, and of course, the front muzzle does look really, really clean. And of course, you can see already that the iron side has been cut out quite a bit. Not too sure what's happening with my hand here, but this side really is super clean. And on the side, we can see a moon there, alluding to the creator's name, of course. Flicking over to first person, this is what it looks like. It really, really is super clean. And if this was a skin that you could purchase, it'd probably go for quite a bit, I would assume. If we go ahead and give it a reload, there's the animation, definitely very, very clean. And of course, scoping in, you can see that a lot has been cut away here. So if we compare this to the default AK, you can see just how much has vanished, and it's actually quite a bit. Obviously, if we flick over to nighttime, you'll see more of what it looks like. Obviously, this skin or any of the weapon skins really glow, but of course, this is the iron side over here if you're going to be using this at nighttime. The Spicy General Drop, which we saw earlier, I didn't show you the iron sights at nighttime, so here they are, a bit more visible than the Moon's AK, but of course, we've got a few more to go. Moving on from here, we've got VincentSMG's very shiny Call of Duty camo looking AK. That is definitely a very, very sparkly addition to any kit. And of course, checking it out from the third person, yeah, this thing really, really shines and sparkles in any light, and it's going to be super, super obvious to see. Obviously, there's nothing too much to it. It's just one general texture painted over most of it with a couple of golden highlights here and there on certain different bits of the weapon. If you're collecting Call of Duty camos, definitely make sure you're collecting this one as well. If we have a look at first person over here, you can see how the iron sights look. They're a bit more visible here, but of course we are still missing quite a bit of the back iron sight. As you can see, it's trimmed away for a lot more visibility. And of course, flicking over to nighttime, you'll see how the iron sight looks. Here, the gun is barely visible, and of course the iron sight at the front almost completely invisible, except for when you skyline someone. Not bad at all, but of course, I'm not really a huge fan of Call of Duty skins. This is definitely one of the most Call of Duty skins we've seen ever really in Rust. From there, we've got the Vaybae Assault Rifle. Again, watch 2 hours. This very girly and pink assault rifle features a lot of this semi-shiny pink painted all over the thing. It's a very light, subtle color, but of course, it does look pretty good for what it is. Super, super clean, no scratches, nothing. And of course, on the left-hand side, the play side, you have this heart over here. If we have a look from the first person, this is what it looks like. It's got Vaybae written on the magazine over there. And of course, if we were to reload it, you can see a bit more of that. Not bad at all. When we scope in, there's a seriously easy to spot front iron sight, nice and red. All dead written on the back, pretty cool. And of course, flicking over to nighttime, that's what it looks like here. Way more visible than most of the AK skins we've seen this far. And not to mention, it's got the usual cutaway, as you can see here, where the back iron sight has been chopped down a little bit just to give a bit more visibility. I like it. Obviously though, it's not for everyone. From there, we got one more AK this drop cycle. This is the RavennRust Assault Rifle, and it's a lot darker than the rest of them that we've seen, sporting this red, molten texture that's spread across the entire rifle. Reminds me very much of some kind of Call of Duty Zombies Easter egg. Definitely very cool. Not too sure what the writing's supposed to mean, but I guess it's just general spooky calligraphy spread across it to add to the overall aesthetic. On the back, you can just barely see this dark crow over here. And if you didn't already notice, around the front side, the side you don't want to be seen on, of course, over here is the streamer's actual logo, nice and hidden away. This magazine also has more writing at the very bottom. One would think that this glows in the dark, so if we flick over to that, it doesn't, sadly. Meaning, of course, that you can use this just about anywhere at any time. If we have a look from the first person over here, giving it an inspect, pretty cool. Definitely not as dark as I would think. It's more of a charcoal dark kind of color. And of course, reloading, there you go. Now, if we have a look at the iron side over here, you can see that this is one of the more rare skins, even though it is a shorter AK variant. The back iron sight is still almost completely visible. Flicking over to the original AK, very little is actually being changed. Do you like seeing this kind of thing? Do let me know down below, but of course, we have seen a lot of cutaway skins recently, and again at the very back, we've got the streamer's actual icon. The iron sights at nighttime almost completely vanish, but you can just barely make out the 2 dots that they've got on the back iron sight, and even less so the front iron sight over there. Finally, with all 5 AK drops out of the way, we've got a few more to go. At the very bottom, we've got the GalaaxXy M2. This gorgeous dark purple beast reminds me of sort of a nebula type skin. I thought it was more obsidian from a bit further away, but this is definitely some kind of nebula skin. Sort of similar to, I guess, a Call of Duty type skin. You would expect this thing to be animated, but of course, you know, get animated skins in Rust. It definitely does look super, super pretty. Don't know what GalaaxXy is being caged away here, but it's definitely very angry and very, very purple. The bullets, of course, are also the same sort of texture. I have no idea what kind of hate you'd be sending downrange, but it's definitely a endgame camo type thing. Scoping it over here, you can see that this iron sight is mostly default. If we have a look at the original M2, not much has been changed at all, which is quite surprising, but again, it is still pretty welcome. And flicking over to nighttime, again, you won't notice any glowing effects or anything like that. It just vanishes as much as any other M2 skin. You can just barely make it out, but again, it's not a bright color, so it's going to be really difficult to spot. You'll need to know where the center of your screen is, or more preferably, skyline. From there, we've got 3 left. This is the Wabbit Thompson, all the way down at the very bottom. A very Sonic-esque themed, definitely very well used and needs a repaint Thompson with these ears sticking up off the back, which is a nice creative little addition to it. There's a lot that's been taken off of this, at least from first glance, and if we have a look at the original skin, well, yeah, you can see some of the back iron side has been taken off of this. It's also a shorter Thompson variant where the backside is missing, but we'll have a look at that from the first person view. And of course, on the play side, we've got the streamer's name over here. Having a look from the first person, here you go. It looks like the back's been bitten off almost. And of course, it is a pretty clean looking Thompson skin. Scoping it over here, you can see the streamer's logo at the back. And of course, there is quite a bit of this iron sight left here. Compared to the usual one, it's just nowhere near as high, which is nice to see, but it's not really a pay-to-win kind of skin. Obviously, it's free, but also, of course, not a lot has been taken off. Not bad. From here, we've got the Gevad1ch SAP, which is another nice dark red, bloody type skin. This definitely does look like it's escaped a mental asylum of some sort. And of course, from third person, it's just as pretty. You can see there's lots of hand-carved details scratched into this from, I guess, a Cerberus or just 3 dogs at the very back to a skull at the front, tons of blood along the grip at the very bottom, and things like that. A pretty cool, nice looking skin that is just a retextured version of the original. Not too much is missing here. If we have a look from the first person, of course, just as you'd expect, looks about the same, and the actual iron sight here, you can see the back is almost completely missing versus the usual semi-pistol. Not too sure if this is much of a pay-to-win advantage, but of course, there you go. It's a little bit cleaner. And at the very back, it says click heads as well. At nighttime, that click heads actually glows, which is pretty cool to see. We don't see many glowing skins, but of course, from the third person, if I can find myself, it will make you ever so slightly more visible just with this glowing piece. But of course, you need to be at the right angle, which is mostly from either shoulder at the left or the right, about 90 degrees or more. The right end shoulder actually shows a lot less. So while you might think that's a bad thing to have, it's really not that bad at all. And finally, the Tanizen MP5 is this beautiful purple MP5 skin here, of course. I like how this thing has come together, although it does seem like there's quite a few different textures spread all over it. It doesn't seem to match together all that well. I would think there's just too much going on, but that's just my personal opinion. Ultimately, if you like purple skins, this is a pretty sweet one to have. And of course, best of all, it's completely free. Having a look from the first person over here, you can see the writing is mirrored on both sides. Nothing too crazy going on there. But when we scope in, you can see again, this has had quite a bit of it taken away. Following the theme of a lot of skins that we've seen nowadays, most of the back iron sight is removed, allowing you to see so much more. Not bad at all. Of course, flicking over to nighttime for the last time, this is so much more visible. The purple iron sight at the very front, completely painted on the back, makes it super easy to see wherever you're aiming. Obviously, though, you're not going to see your enemies as easily at nighttime, but it's nice to still have. And there's no glowing effects or anything like that with this. Not to mention that previous pistol that we spoke about, you can actually see it glowing on my leg here as it's just sitting there at nighttime, which is a bit of a giveaway. That's probably why we don't see so many glowing Rust weapons, but anyways. And with that, we've covered all of the homebrewed 3 Twitch drops. Let me know which one is your favorite down below. And of course, I'll see you in just a bit for this week's brand new Rust items in the store, where we'll be checking them out in game before you actually purchase them. I'll see you all there.